One out inside 50 to the right of screen is Buddy. We get it underway. Umpires today, Margetts, Ryan and Mitchell. Parker out of the middle from Sydney. Not quite the depth to where Buddy was, but Pike is there. Punch away by Turlick. Opportunity for Jetta. Gio watched him warm up. He was out there for about an hour and a half. He can't have much left in the tank. Here's Cunningham. Short ball. Finds Hanbury. Inside 50, but wide. McVeigh. Mike Pike. Chicken winged he was. Magnificent tackle. Turlick as well.
Interesting that Derrick's took the centre bounce task, and they've started Mike Pike as a centre half forward tonight.
Yeah, looking for more marks inside forward 50. Sydney has a bit of a foil for Buddy, and I think that makes sense with Mikey. Enjoyed having Mumford for a few seasons. He's found it a bit tougher going without him.
Jones under pressure, hits the behind post. I'll have a boundary throw in.
Well, Pike was up there with Travis Cloak in contested marking last year, so not a bad move. And Buddy and McDonald, yeah, a little bit of a wrestle off the play there. That gets you into the game sometimes. A bit of a wrestle early.
There's J-Mar. Talk about getting to the game, and a little poker out of the pack from Kennedy.
It's the aggression from Buddy, isn't it? It's just saying to the young bloke, you know what, good luck tonight. I'm going to run you around the ground, and then if you hold on, I'm going to ragdoll you to the ground as well.
Jones again. Matt Jones. Wide Melcheski got a good left foot. Kicks that one to the top of the square. Dangerous spot. Bit of help. McDonald over the head. Snap around the body in the first one to Parker.
Good. Yeah, here's the high ball into the square. You get a contest out of Mike Pike. Parker, that's just classic play. And you can see the Swans, they want to move it quickly already tonight. They're just playing on getting it in there, getting it deep, and let your key forwards go to work.
It's the second time they kicked the first goal of the game this year, Sydney. Hanbury with a little clearance there. There's an opportunity for the wee man, McGlynn, around the corner. Here's Buddy. McDonald did well to squat it down. Buddy had a second go.
It's going to be a big step up in class for this improved Melbourne midfielders. Bud's got a bit of aggression going tonight. He really he's fired up going after a few Melbourne defenders early.
And Melbourne's almost targeting him there a little bit, though.
Yeah, you're right, Richo. Jack Grimes just ran over there to make sure he got a bump into Buddy. They're going to have a team focus to make it a tough day, not just leave it up to Tommy McDonald.
Gee, that was well done physically there. Now off to Bird, left foot to the top of the square. Dangerous position here, Mike Pike. Couldn't read it as well as he would have liked. Now Vince just gets it out of the danger zone. All of the players been here. Every bit of it has been here. Lloyd has a ping at them and misses.
Hey, Lee, I'm interested in the psychology of that. I know that, you know what, if you want to take someone on, that's great. But I get the feeling, Buddy, it just sparks him into gear a bit quicker, and he goes, all right, you want to dish it up. If he was sort of not quite on his game, he is now. Yeah.
Some players would like that. Sorry, Lingy, you go.
No, absolutely correct. I think Buddy, he comes across as a pretty relaxed kind of guy, but on a footy field, he's super competitive. As soon as he gets roughed up a little bit, I reckon he thinks, righto, I'm in for a big night tonight. I'm going to take you on and make you pay for that.
Rampy is credited with that behind there. And Melbourne really struggling. What I'm going to be watching with Buddy tonight is to see whether he wrestles or gets on the bike. His best attribute, Darcy, is when he runs, not when he wrestles. And, you know, they say at Hawthorn that, you know, they like to keep him under 100 kilos because he was a running machine. And not sure that that's been the case at Sydney, where he's wrestled a lot more this year. Hanbury, done. Vince, little step and good little kick in there. Melbourne still under enormous pressure. Melcheski, handball opportunity now. Bird got it inside 50. Here's Franklin, down a push, and it might be a Buddy free. High, said the umpire.
Well, there you go. It's all right being physical and getting into Buddy's face, but you can't be giving free kicks away 15 metres out. Gee, there wasn't a hell of a lot, but the umpire was in perfect position, so...
You don't need them going against you, though, if you're Tommy McDonald early on in the piece. There's not much there.
No, and slow-mo, when you look at it, I think you're probably right, Lingy and Richo. Buddy gets a look from about 20 out, but it's a sharpish angle. Kick on the way, drags it a little bit here, but it's still good enough to register the second.
Here's Big Bud, who's got a little fist pump going early, kicked a nice goal, and he's up on his toes here.
Margaret, gee, what was Derek's doing there?
Melbourne.
Well,
No, you're going straight up and down.
Come on, Big Tommy.
Big Tommy, that's... well, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt in saying it was poor judgment, but it was a bit more than that. I think it was just...
Didn't even look at the footy dust.
At all.
There's Melchesky Watts in there. It's not a convincing inside 50. Little opportunity here now. Kennedy Harris was involved. Now Nate Jones. Long footy to the square. Sydney got some numbers. Offhand, Howe misses.
Let's have a look at this one in the centre bounce. This, to me, was the old-fashioned one where you say, you know what, I'm prepared to give one away to try and hurt you.
Can't
Drive your knee straight into the head from Tommy Derrick. Lucky he didn't make contact.
A lot of David Carradine about it on that one. That was unbelievable. Here's Bernie surrounded by three, retreats. Gives it back to Pedersen. Now a little handball on to Viney. Got through the littlest of holes and couldn't finish because of the pressure.
Hey, Lingy, has Benny McGlynn got the job of running around with Nate Jones tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Richo spot on there. McGlynn's on Nathan Jones. Couple other quick matchups. Daniel Cross, he's on Jared McVeigh, limiting his influence across half-back, and Grimes has gone to Hanbury.
Push out. Shannon Burns.
So I'm not sure that was against Derrick. Off the ball.
That was paid by the umpire that was in control of the central region of the ground.
Shocking throw-in where they had to make ground. Really, that's what initiated that free kick. Then that free kick wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for the poor depth in the throw-in.
Richo went down this week to sort the umpires out.
Richo.
You've got to get that there.
Yeah.
Here's Burns. As a result, 25 metres out. He's a bit of a dead eye. Melbourne get there first.
During the week, our own Matthew Richardson went down to see his old mate Wayne Campbell expressly just to teach him how to throw it in. It's not that hard, is it?
It was a lot harder than I anticipated it was going to be.
Throwing a ball over your head, Richard.
They're doing a terrific job.
No, they're not. They've been slinging it, and they haven't been good. There's been more boundary throw-ins come up short than I can remember in many decades, Richo.
A lot of variables come into it, Brian, like wind, oil on the ball.
Here's Shaw, and it's on here. Game 199 for Shaw, and a lot of niggle going on. Look at the umpire says, give it to me. I want to get it on. Burns in amongst it. Parker stamped doors, picked up by Vince. Lets it rip to the left.
One of the great things that Melbourne have brought to the table this year under Paul Roos. There's a little one of the breadbasket there from Nate Jones, and they are more aggressive and more competitive, Melbourne. I like it, and they're much better around the contest this year under Paul Roos as well.
Good grab there by Pedersen. No damage done with that little fisty there, but you just wonder from Nate Jones, in clear vision of all cameras, whether that was a good thing to do. Up goes Dawes, competes. McVeigh down in there to Grundy. Tries to get over the top of it for the second time. Carried forward in the tackle. Parker's there. Hanbury went and coughed it out the back door. Did well. Kennedy said, watch out for that man. I just gave it to you. And I put you under the pump. And now Melbourne's turn to lock it in.
It's a good setup from Melbourne. They got numbers back to really set up the wall. And they're starting to understand where to position themselves better than they have, Melbourne, and you can just see the coaching effort coming through, Richard.
Yeah, this is why their defence has improved so much. Last year, they gave up 100 points in every game bar 3, but they've already done that in 4 out of 5 this year. Giorgio
looking for Vince Wide, who's been really good for Melbourne this year. Bernie Vince, and he's been a very, very effective player for them. After 5 rounds last year, they conceded 719 points, Melbourne, and they are basically, after 5 games this year, 10 goals per game better off.
Almost the same defensive level, BT, as Hawthorn are at the moment. It's a massive turnaround in this side.
Quick hands on that occasion by Tyson. Now Bird. Here's Jeddah. Turley grabbed him with a ripping tackle. Advantage paid. Lyndon Dunn immediately inside 50. Frawley stuck out the claw, couldn't make it stick. Rampy and Howe go at it. Howe did well. Frawley composed near the boundary line, centering ball. Watts out of position here, falls short. Bales there, couldn't get onto it. In there is Laidler. And now Jack through traffic nicely. Quick hands Melcheski to Bird. Well, a bit of action goes on behind the play. But Melbourne have locked it in here. Look at this. A 4-on-1. Melbourne jumpers only in the screen there. And Nate Jones, the beneficiary of all of that. Short ball. Watts on the lead. Needed to hang on there because Melbourne did that so very well.
Yeah, it's disappointing for Jack because you're not going to get many easier chances to get a mark inside 50 than that. Beautiful pass by Nathan Jones, and it was a nice lead by Jack. He made good position and had a 2-metre break on his opponent.
Tyson in there, trying to back out with it. Now Bale, flung to the ground by Melcheski. Little knock on from Laidler. Involved here is Parker. He's normally a left footer. This on his right. Once again, look at this, 3-on-1. The numbers here behind the footy by Melbourne are impressive.
Melbourne! Stay there, Craig!
Well, they're right in this contest, Melbourne. The contested ball, all indicators are their tackle pressure is up. So good signs early. They've got a good structure, as Darcy was just talking about. And if you get the contested stuff right and the tackling.
Here's the other Jetta, Neville.
Just looks like a much better balanced side, this, doesn't it? J-Mar comes in with some experience in the ruck. You've got Frawley, who's going to give you a contest up forward. Dawes has competed really well as he takes this ruck stoppage. And through the midfield, they're a lot harder and better at winning contested footy. It's a completely different side, almost.
Okay, thank you.
This Melbourne team we're seeing at the moment.
Sydney haven't been inside 50 for 8 minutes. When Buddy kicked that last goal, Melbourne have owned it.
Bernie Vince is up to 6 disposals, so he's giving them something they didn't have through the midfield last year as well.
Pike, Tyson, Dawes. Little kick, gathered another 10. Quick hands, Laidler. Gee, must have known Shaw was there through voice. Here's Rampy. He's going to go across the face now. A risky kick made look good here by McGlynn. To Bird, Turlick with his second really good turnover tackle, and he's looking for a third. Mike Pike, good controlled little kick, unorthodox looking thing, but Roberts Thompson to Jack. Jack on the wing, short ball McGlynn. And now Buddy's been dropped behind play, and I tell you what, it's a box on Giorgio. Gave him a quick whack to the head, I reckon. It was a beauty.
And great umpiring. Let's have a look behind the play. So Giorgio, well, he actually made contact. I apologise to Buddy. I saw that live and thought he took a dive, but he went to chop his arm and he almost sort of kung fu style collect him.
I'm impressed with the Bruce Lee stuff here tonight, Das, but that was a whack to the head.
Yeah, he definitely got him there.
And I just wonder what that is going to further provoke out of Buddy.
Well, he is really, there we see it again,
Karate chop.
Yeah, he was trying to break Buddy's arm, but got him fair in the head, so.
Tile buster. Here's Buddy now. No, Tom, I'm not sure that your mate should have done that. Kick forward now. Out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, probably just tried to kick that far too long, Buddy. Should have gone to the top of the square, but he is staying deep tonight. When the ball's been down inside Melbourne's forward 50, he is holding back inside his forward 50, something we don't see a lot of now from key forwards.
Look at this massive forward press that the Swans have got on now. Every player well into their own half of the ground, almost every player inside the forward 50. You can see the front of the square on. Sydney have pushed every player up, and that's a panic kick from Turlick. He's turned it straight over Kennedy.
Buddy again sat down in his attempts to lead there. Fairly this time. Laidler, kick off the side of the boot was not good. Now Melbourne are going to have to hold, or can they go? They can go here if Pedersen can outrun Cunningham, I think it is, or Laidler. It's Laidler and Pedersen. Pedersen's run out of wheels here. He now uses the body. Did well, the big fella, to keep it forward. Laidler eventually. Little ball over the back, Turlick. Jack went and got it. That's all he could do. The other arm was pinned. Lyndon Dunn now at true half back. Tyson.
We spoke to Paul Roos pre-game, and he's pretty unemotional about coaching against his old side. He said it's been 3 or 4 years since I was a senior coach, and he's treating it very much like another game.
Good tackle there, Jetta on Jetta.
So there's Buddy Franklin right in the game having a chat to Lewis Roberts-Thompson, but he's really got that whole 50 to himself tonight. When the ball is down the other end of the ground, he is holding there, so they're trying to exploit that matchup.
Jack just got rid of it in the nick of time, you feel. Hanbury, fast hands McVeigh. Prop and stop. Now Buddy's got good body position here. Kept his feet. Lyndon Dunn under now. Buddy pressure.
Well, I think he'll go over to Lewis Roberts-Thompson and just say, Richo, that's exactly what I don't want you to do. Don't lead your man into my space. We're trying to create the opposite. He led Lyndon Dunn into the contest, and a smart play from Dunn. That's not his best kick, though.
Out of bounds on the full gas. Kennedy for Sydney. Goes to the pocket. Buddy got good position again. Gee, that went through the hands then, and Grimes happy to rush it over. I reckon that came cleanly through then. So now it's Melbourne's turn to once again absorb some pressure. Jamar knocking it forward. Hanbury. Second attempt, fast little hands there to Jack. Gave it to Kennedy. Kennedy snap around the corner, got the post.
#1 contested player in the AFL, that man on screen, Josh Kennedy. Big, powerful, tall midfielder who wins a lot of hard ball.
Turlick just puts that one down the line. Cross. Jamar and Vince. Another 10 metres gain, so gradually they try and get over this wall of Sydney players as they inch it forward, and numbers should be in favour of Sydney, but Melbourne's Dawes comes through and interrupts the party, did well, held it up, and now Melbourne have got some numbers here. Little handball came to Vince. 3-on-1, Melbourne player in the middle of all that had no chance. Rampy and Shaw combining. Roberts-Thompson in the middle of it. Rampy again. Back to Reshaw. Game 199 for him tonight. 200 club next week for Reese. Richards from centre half back. Good penetrating run here. Gets it deep. Have a look at the space Buddy had. The kick was poor. Buddy was coming at the footy.
Yeah, and equally, you've got to pay some respect to the way they've been coached, Melbourne, at the moment, and also the players on the field. They're reading it really well. They're making sure Buddy's got space at the start, and then late they always get a number back. That time it was Turlick who read it really well. So they're going to make sure that Buddy doesn't get one-on-ones too often.
Well, the one thing about isolating one forward back is that the rest of the Melbourne defenders know where it's going to go, because there's only one target there at the moment. So pretty easy to get back and help out.
What do you make of it all, Lingy, with Buddy and the way that Sydney are trying to work things here at the moment?
I like the fact Buddy's staying deep and trying to draw the Melbourne defenders back to him, and not coming up, I suppose, playing as that high half forward. But they can't become too Buddy conscious, Sydney. They seem to be going to him every single time, like they've had a specific instruction to get him a couple of goals early on. I reckon they've still got to adjust who they kick the ball to keep Melbourne guessing.
Cross.
Great selection, Daniel Cross, for this side. He's such an admired individual, one of the most professional athletes I've ever met, Richo. He's #2 in contested ball at Melbourne. He plays on his man. He's incredibly brave, and he's showing this young group of how you train and how you go about it.
Well, he's doing the job on Jared McVeigh so far, Dust. Tonight, as you said, playing on his man. McVeigh only one touch.
Kennedy Harris with the free kick here. Dawes wants it in the middle, and he was a little late to see that, Kennedy Harris, and now he goes deep into the pocket. Howe wanted to push in the back. The umpire said no, nothing on for you today. Shaw. A couple of bouncers running out of defence here. She decides to straighten up and sees, I think it's McVeigh.
Thanks, Daniel. Hold.
McVeigh at centre half back. In a good position here, Sydney.
Hold there, Dean.
Lachlan, first time he's been up the ground tonight. And a long way up. Good kick. Finds Derricks. Slow, methodical build-up here from Sydney, who are starting to regain some important players. I see Sam Reid was on the plane down here as one of the emergencies as well.
Lewis Roberts-Thompson has got a massive mismatch in the goal square with Neville Jetta. Need to get it in there to him.
Derricks to Grundy.
This is what Cameron Ling focused on pre-game, Ling, their defensive transition play, and so far so good in this build-up.
Laidler goes to that matchup, but unfortunately he was swamped by Pike and others. There, Richo, Burns.
Yeah, his teammates had to be aware of that mismatch and get out of his way then.
Hanbury favoured left side here. Gee, they gave him a lot of time. There's Hannaby, such great control around the body. And Burns didn't come at him. Perhaps not realising that it was his favoured side. Derricks mistimed. McVeigh straight onto the boot. Finds Lloyd, the second gamer. Lloyd goes wide, looking for Parker, who elevated himself nicely on the back of Viney. Parker now goes deep, and here's how. Pike it is, in fact, with that matchup with Lyndon Dunn. And McVeigh. Cunningham. Little sneaky one in there from Lloyd again, this time intercepted by Jamar down low. Jamar's first game for the year. 134th career game for Mark Jamar. Kennedy Harris, kick was smothered. McVeigh now looking for Cunningham. Bird's there as well. Turlick tried to round him up, couldn't get it done, and now Sydney another entry inside 50, but Jamar doing well. Got high tackle there from Buddy. Downfield it will be.
Dean, your kick. Dean's kick.
I don't feel like there's much more Melbourne could do at the moment in terms of the way they've set up, Richo. It's just a bit of a difference in class. I mean, Sydney have got 3 All-Australians midfielders last year. McVeigh, Hanbury and Kieran Jack were all Australians, and the next group are pretty talented as well. I think just the extra bit of class is hurting them at the moment, but effort is right up.
Yeah, you can't doubt that. If you're a Melbourne supporter, you have to be happy with their effort tonight.
You're stand there trying to force the ball up.
Free kick to Sydney. Did he have any prior opportunity? Have a look at this. How quickly was the tackle on him? Of course he didn't have a prior opportunity.
His feet hadn't hit the ground.
How is that prior opportunity?
We heard the umpire mic'd up for us here on Channel 7 say no genuine attempt. But what are you supposed to do? He needs to wiggle his body and try and throw a fist at it. I think that's ridiculous.
Lewis Jetta. 45 metres out, leftish in his attempt.
He's gone the real Telly Savalas Kojak look there, hasn't he? With the beard. Don't mind it.
Gone who? Did you say
Telly Savalas?
Telly Savalas was Kojak, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I just thought you might have got it mixed up there, but no, Tully was Savalas. Push on Pedersen.
Where you are, hey?
Grundy just getting into the back. So there's, how do you find someone free in all of that? I mean, Dawes presents nicely down the middle of it, but it was always going to be a challenge, and Frawley just making Laidler earn it there.
Big Mark Jamar's going all right too early. Big Russian.
Hold the jumper, Mark Jamar. Advantage.
Gee, tough to pick who was holding who. Was crossed, advanced the ball forward. Here's Frawley and Richards. Now Dawes, little handball back. Missed his intended target there in Kennedy Harris, and now Sydney will rip it out of defence through Grundy. Combines with Melcheski. Sydney have got Kennedy on, and another one further afield in Bird. It goes in the Bird direction. He marks. Uncontested. To the pocket, and here comes Buddy. But dipping in front is Kieran Jack.
They just got burnt with the gut run of the Sydney midfielders there. Richo, Jack, Hanbury, McVeigh, all streaming. If you look at Daniel Cross, he's absolutely filthy. I think he thinks one of his teammates didn't push hard enough back into defence, and they'll get caught out because this group, well, last year we thought they were the best midfield we'd seen for 10 years.
And that was their classic play, that slingshot rebound out of defensive 50. And they have got Melbourne late in this quarter with the uncontested ball.
For the fourth Sydney first quarter goal, comes in, good-looking kick, drags it across beautifully. Sydney have got 4. So under a minute remaining in the first quarter, Sydney by 20 points. Good start for them. Both teams have had a bit of the footy, but Sydney have been able to score and Melbourne have struggled to score.
Yeah, it's a high-tempo game, BT, high-possession game.
Inside 50s, 14-10. Melbourne lead that category. So from their 10 inside 50s, 4 goals. Good result for the Sydney Swans. Nate Jones squeezed one through there and gathered 20. Bale tried to keep it rolling forward. Smith of Sydney. Backwards to Rampy. Grundy involved, and Rampy again. He can go down the line to Laidler. Goes over his head, looking for Kennedy. And Jetta did well.
Got a tweet coming through. Phil Davis, the GWS co-captain. Wonder if Tom McDonald, the man on screen, spent extra time in front of the mirror this morning. Always plenty of airtime when you're playing on Buddy.
Certainly looks like it. It looks like he's given it a real good trim up. Given it a -1. Never mind number 1. He's had a real good look in the mirror this morning, knowing that he's going to feature on a national basis. Here's Rampy, centre half back. 10 seconds left here. McVeigh the target. Jetta did well. McVeigh ground level. Thought about Hanbury. Went himself. And Buddy through the hands. Siren will sound. And at quarter time, Sydney doing it very, very nicely. 9 scoring shots there. 4-5-29. They lead Melbourne 1-2-8. Plenty of action in this one. Stay with us. Buddy with 1 goal out of it all, and a bit of a karate chop to the right cheek. Umpire Heath Ryan to let it rip. This time Derrick's timed his run up nicely. Parker and Jones go at it.
Yeah, BT. Paul Williams, 2-time best in fairest winner, 01 and 02 at the Swans.
Wow.
He's got the job done, Willow. Tassie boy as well.
Kennedy.
Hobart.
Matt Jones advancing the footy to Frawley. Dawes and Richards is there as well. Dawes did well. Perhaps could have given it to Frawley there rather than trying to turn all the way around.
Definitely doing something different. Franklin's was down in the goal square then when that ball got thrown up. We haven't seen that all year in a game.
Overlap running here, impressive from Sydney, ends with Jetta. Long and looking for Pike. Boundary line beats all comers.
But a lot of, I guess, media analysts have been asking why teams never hold a forward deep back like that when the ball's down the other end. And it is the first time this year that I've seen the forward stay at home like Franklin is tonight.
And is he only able to do that because McDonald is staying with him? Normally the defender might play 30 or 40 metres in front and come back as the ball comes back.
Yeah, spot on. But Tommy McDonald is not leaving his side, so he's staying deeper.
Let's have a look at this. Cam Pedersen decides I'll go 3rd man up. He has driven his knee into the backside of Bernie Vince harder than you could possibly imagine. Bernie's looking around going, are you kidding me? My own teammate's just done that.
Grimes tackled really high there. Surprised he didn't get a free.
No chance. Here. Play on.
Jamar just working it back in the boundary line. Tyson ducking and weaving. Around the back is Viney.
I love the look of what they're trying to do in Melbourne. We see Jack Viney, who's one of the hardest young players in the game. They toughen it up around the footy with Bernie Vince and Daniel Cross comes into the mix. Jack Grimes really trying to make sure they're better. Nathan Jones, exactly that, making sure they win these 50-50 contests more than they lose.
Hanbury not pretty here at the moment. Pike did well to keep it alive. Through trouble, Jetta. Turlick back out to Tyson, or is it Viney? It's the latter. Viney's kick not good. And Shaw thumps it into the dangerous spot. Here's Buddy again. This time McDonald behind. Off hands, creates an opportunity for Rampy. He thought the pressure was behind him when it wasn't.
Yeah, he just didn't think he had as much time then. Rampy could have nearly straightened up.
No one there. Have the don't argue to fresh hair, didn't he?
Didn't need to kick around the corner then either. He could have straightened up, kicked a drop punt then. A lot easier said than done, though.
I shouldn't speak about Mose, but that's a very juvenile one. Opportunity here for Matt Jones in there. McGlynn trying to force it out. Quick hands by Watts onto Nathan Jones. This is the classic case of the rolling maul here.
Yeah, it is both sides. Pretty good at making sure they get one-on-one, get accountability, and you're going to see, Paul Roos coach sides forever, and John Longmire, they tend to have a lot more stoppages and ball ups. That's just the way they like it.
Gee, that was a great tap from Jamar then. Jones knew where it was going. Jamar knew where he wanted it to go. Short to Grimes. Slow play, seeing so much of this year. Dawes did well to Lyndon Dunn, and now they go deep. They fly. Howers off to the side. Melcheski under some pressure. Shaw. The handball was just a little heavy and hard. And he's got a lucky one.
And that will be frustrating for Paul Roos for how just to give away a soft free kick there. Umpire had to pay it, but that will be the build-up that Paul Roos will love. They wanted a half back. They used it well by foot, and then when it was time to go forward half of the ground, they kicked it long to a one-on-one.
Melcheski, the kick has to be perfect, and it is to Hanbury.
Benny McGlynn got the job on Nate Jones, and he's just drifted forward now to take Jones out of the play.
Thanks, Kurt. Hang on.
Sydney spreading here and spreading the defenders well. Grundy to Richards. Down the line to McGlynn. Kick was a little wide. McGlynn, can he keep it? No, Jones decides to get it over the line. Looking at some champion data information there is Johnny Longmire, shaking his head in disbelief. Get a constant supply of stats fed into the coach's box. Coaching staff, not just the stock standard ones, but the...
Haven't been in a coach's box for a while, BT, but they're great at actual lights going off, like red lights saying someone's out of control, a player's had too many possessions, and very, very sophisticated there, Richo.
Well, the red light would be going off in the Melbourne box on the contested possession now. Plus 14 to the Swans. They're getting on top.
Melcheski, Roberts Thompson, Steph Costin copped a knock. He's not looking too energetic about it all. Melcheski goes really wide to McVeigh.
How good was that kick?
1 metre, Jack. 1 metre, please. Thank you.
Had nothing to go to and found a target, although being wide.
And McVeigh, from a real difficult angle, he'll kick it from around about 50. It's a tough shot.
15 gone, Jared.
He's really got to stick it on the left side of the goalpost. Tough kick. From McVeigh. Across the face. Pike was in there to make it hard for everyone. Did well to force the contest. Now Shaw gives chase for Sydney. 55 out. Cool kick. Back inside Jack. Jack for a moment thought about Lloyd there. There's Buddy up the middle, and that's where it's going. Got in there, Viney, and read it nicely.
It's really good anticipation by Viney. Peeled off just at the right time, and intercept marked. Well done.
Frawley keeping it alive there with a punch forward. Vince. Left foot kick, and here's Frawley again. The one-handed did it nice.
That was a great kick from Bernie Vince. That was about the only spot that Frawley was going to mark it, and he put it absolutely perfectly there.
Oh, there now!
Pedersen's got it within 60 metres for Melbourne.
Yeah, good hard gut running then too by Pedersen to push and give Frawley that option.
Now into the pocket. Off hands Jeddah, so in one side, perhaps out the other. Although doing really, really well at ground level as he made an attempt to get rid of it. I don't think he has. And he pounced on the footy. He did the defensive thing here, Jeddah, but then made no attempt.
It's a brutal sport, this game, isn't it, where you do everything right like Jeddah did. He made all the play, athletically contested for it, sat underneath him. The umpire, as the rule book dictates, that is holding the footy, but it's pretty hard. And then you spoke to Paul Roos at quarter time, and he said, look, the first 20 minutes were great. Our contested ability to tackle and our effort's great. They're just not quite being able to hold on, are they?
No, exactly right, Darcy. He was wrapped with their effort, wrapped with their pressure, but just the ability to sustain it against a team like Sydney, who also pride themselves on that area of the game, tackling like they're doing right now. Just such a physical team. It's tough for this young Demons outfit to be able to match it against the Swans.
Just about had enough of the genuine attempt.
Hitting it to yourself.
To give the theatrics well enough, you're not paid. I mean,
so what do you got to do? Just swing your arm around wildly. I think that's why you can hear the Melbourne fans. They're a bit frustrated.
Well, that interpretation seems to have changed a little. Now, if they're consistent, and he is,
No genuine attempt again, Melbourne.
hallelujah, they say.
well, that's consistent, but it's consistently not great.
Well, this is exactly what we haven't loved about it. This is over-umpiring here now, and that hasn't been there in the first few weeks, Richo.
But they're just doing that's instructed, and they've been consistent with it tonight, so I guess you can't complain if it's consistent.
Pedersen down the middle. Dawes got a chance.
This is great reward for effort for big Chris Dawes, who's a massive unit in his own right. Chris Dawes, he's a great runner at the same time. He carries a big frame, but nearly 100 kilos. Look at the work rate there, really stretching out hard, and hasn't had a lot of the footy since his return, but he's just given them a bit of presence up there.
Sliding doors, some would say, looking at that. Does.
Yeah,
nice, bristle. Sharp,
I like it.
Jeez, you're on tonight.
He's a really good kick. He sets up beautifully. He's got a textbook
very straight
style about him. He's very erect in his posture. And look at that. Melbourne get their second goal, the first goal of the second quarter.
BT all over this kicking action. What do you like about it?
Yeah, absolutely superb. Nice and straight task, very uncomplicated, and that's his 100th career goal to go with that.
It was a nice build-up. Paul Roos will probably show that at training on Monday, because they got to switch into the corridor, they got to play on. It opened up the 50, and that's what Chris Dawes wanted. Gave him plenty of space to lead.
And Richo, the bloke who got in the middle was Cam Pedersen. He's playing in the ruck now, very undersized at 193 centimetres, but providing a few headaches with his mobility. He's already had the 11 touches so far.
Suiting Melbourne the way this game's being played at the moment. Shaw trying to bang his way through the Matt Jones tackle. Burns did well to just get a little smother in there. Now Shaw keeps it alive. Sitting under it is Vince. Turlick went without getting hold of it, and now McVeigh gets a little space, has a look into the danger zone here. McGlynn's making ground, pursued by Watts. Here comes Dunn. Worried him out of it, did nicely. Watts just buys a bit of time by peeling the handball backwards, and Melbourne thinking their way out here. Jeddah did well to get a hand in there. Pedersen, there he is, the Manling he just spoke of. Pike, Hanbury. Pedersen knocked it out in the tackle. And now Jeddah. Perfect to Jack. Oh, it's just a little high. I thought it looked good. And look at McVeigh with the backhand. To Shaw. Shaw sells some foot candy. Gets it to 45 and sprays it badly.
It's got an open feel to it, this game, and one of the reasons is both teams, their forward lines, as we've talked about a few times, they're holding. We're not seeing the whole amount of numbers all condensed in, as you can see there. Mark Jamar's the deepest forward. He's right down at centre-half forward, and it's just stretching the whole thing out. More room for players to move.
Umpires are told to blow their whistle straight away if it doesn't look like it's going to come out.
So the umpire, there's a little bit of a back elbow there from Lyndon Dunn. And the umpire say rough conduct, free kick.
But he's got to beat 2 in the air. Roberts Thompson with an aggressive tackle. On Bale. This is the free here. Just a little backy into the guts. Matt Jones in there, and look at the players around this. Arms and legs tangled. Pike out of the ruck. Just misses to the left. So Sydney by 17 points now. Dunn elects the short kick and finds Kennedy Harris. Now that's play on if you're coming around on the mark like that. He eventually goes long down the line. Jamar in front is Bernie Vince. A little chiselling footy out wide. Dawes, clever little knock on, just missed Burns, but it was a nice thought from Dawes.
Again, they taught to do the basic things well by Paul Roos, and I always sing his praises a lot because he's had an impact for me, Richo. Melbourne last year would have tried something there in the back pocket that wasn't on, kicked it long to the ruckman. He made sure he didn't get outmarked. They kicked it along the line. You don't get scored against. It's basic stuff, but they haven't done the basic things well. It feels like for a long, long time, Melbourne.
Well, you can definitely see their structure and how they're going about things this year.
Derrickson Jamar this time. Cross was in there. Now Grimes has got Hanbury hanging on. So this is a very in-close game. Not a lot of space for players. Viney. Tyson. Gain 20. See all of the players over on this northern side of the ground in this sort of section of ground, if you like. No one from the centre square over the top to the southern stand side. Hanbury fast hands McGlynn. McGlynn to Jack. Jack to Bird. 4 of their really good midfielders. Bird now long footy. Too much on it for McVeigh, and Lyndon Dunn reads it nicely. Now, can Melbourne go here? I don't think so. Vince is going to cop it again. Kennedy kept it alive. Grimes has to go. Shoveled the handball wide and found Giorgio, and now Dunn's got to do it all over again, and this time to Matt Jones.
Yeah, he's the loose player at the moment, Lyndon Dunn. And he actually had Jack Watts wide on the other side of the ground. He could have switched it across, but chose to come back down the members' side.
They kick another goal here, Melbourne. I think they'd go in. If it's a 10-point ball game at half-time, it mightn't be one for the highlight reel, but I think Paul Roos would really swoop them up and say, hey, you know what, there'll be some mental pressure applied on Sydney. You've shown you can compete with them. If we're close enough on the scoreboard, maybe we just get inside their psyche and we can cause a big upset here.
I agree, Das. I reckon this is really playing into the hands of Melbourne. Low scoring, always in the contest. Jones high footy. Jamar sets himself, and Derricks did well. Now, can they transfer successfully? Rampy the start of that, and Jack on the end. Cunningham offers the short ball. That's where it goes. Here comes Watts, though. Can't quite make him fumble it. Cunningham down the wing here and finds Hanbury worked hard to get across the other side.
Oh, didn't he, BT? Daniel Hanbury, that was super impressive. You're going to show some of these young Melbourne players what work rate through the middle part of the ground is, and they've been good at it tonight, Melbourne. But Daniel Hanbury just worked as hard as he could to the other side of the ground, provided one option, wasn't used, then doubled back and provided another lead. Just an impressive midfielder.
And when Sydney switched that ball then, when Derricks took the mark, I thought, oh, they're going to get out the other side of the ground. But Melbourne worked really hard to get across and block the exit. So
it was exactly what Lingy highlighted before the game, wasn't it? That working as a team to set that line up across, and they did it again then, Richo.
Yeah, so they're really working to a plan, and I guess what Lingy highlighted, if one player doesn't work hard, it just breaks down for everyone. But on that occasion, it worked well.
Using the pace of Jetta well. Slicing kick inside and went at it here. The opposing Jetta, Jones, cool, to Nate Jones. Now Jamar's pursued by Derricks, but got time to peel it off to Grimes, and Jamar again. What does he do here? He's corralled. He's in trouble. Boundary line saved him.
Tackle. Got to be a legal tackle.
So 6.5 minutes, 17 points. As Dar said, a goal here for Melbourne. Right in it. Grimes and Vince combine. Benny Vince to a one-on-one. Frawley, not only their best forward in recent weeks, kicking a couple of goals in successive weeks, he's their best defender.
I'm watching, mate. I'm watching.
Best at both ends. Melcheski thought he had time and space. Back to Laidler, who had to go back and get it. He says, someone come at me, please. And they do, but Melbourne and Dunn working well as that loose man got across to help. Kennedy gives it to Parker on his wrong right boot this time. Didn't get enough on it.
It was great by Jeremy Howard. Then when Melcheski marked that ball in the middle, I thought, oh, they're off here. He's going to be able to deliver it uncontested inside 50, but he pushed hard and just got enough pressure on. Forced Melcheski to get the handball off and saved an easy inside 50.
Is there a question on how long Melbourne can sustain this really good defensive setup, though?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a 10-minute period in the first quarter where they just got away from them a bit, and this great Sydney team, talented team, were able to score quickly. It's going to be the challenge which shows it. Can they keep it up?
It was about this time in the first quarter, I reckon, and Sydney got away. So this is the challenge now, to hold it right till the half-time siren.
You get the feeling that Paul Roos, knowing these Sydney players so well, that he's done a lot of work on this game and given them a really good recipe to follow.
Thanks, Daniel.
Franklin sneaking onto the ground. There hasn't been a lot of opportunity for him in this second quarter. Not as much clean ball as the first quarter. Vince again. High footy, Melcheski through the legs of Pedersen. Labour applies the tackle. I reckon he's almost got him in a headlock.
Only had 4 inside 50s this quarter, Melbourne. Sydney 10, but Melbourne are the only team to score a goal.
The only Australian of the year to ever play a game of football. Adam Goods warming up.
It's a fair inclusion, isn't it? The Australian of the year.
Absolutely the sub, and we saw Judd. And just wonder about warm-ups, whether they've been good enough for the subs. And even though he's a fair way from coming on, he's getting ready, Adam Goods.
I reckon he'll be the only Australian of the year for a while as well that's going to come on as a sub.
Yeah. McGlynn, Jones, chance here, Melbourne. Got the numbers if Turley gets over and helps.
2 tackles.
Just got a tweet in Jack Gunston. We met Phil Davis, talked about Tommy McDonald getting a bit of meat time in the first quarter. Well, he said, at Phil Davis, on you, mate. Got what you were after there, your own air time. I think he might be right, Jack. Phil just sitting on the couch, getting a mention.
So Melbourne at last get it inside 50. Frawley. Smith goes along the ground, and Richard's happy to see it. There's the NAB Oz kickers ready to go. They can't wait to get out there at half-time, and look at them. That excited about venturing onto the MCG.
They're pumped, the little fellas, aren't they? Can't wait for the half-time siren to blow.
How good would it be, though, as a kid to walk onto this ground?
Don't reckon they'll be playing the press. I reckon it might be a bit of clear footy to be won in the Oz kick. Yep. There might, in fact, at half-time in the Auskick, we'll check the scores, they might kick more at half-time in an 8-minute game than these guys have kicked in 2 30-minute quarters.
When you were the ruckman in junior footy, you tap it to yourself, have a bounce, handball at someone, get it back and kick a goal.
No, that's what you did, Richard. You didn't share it. You were a real little bully.
You would have been passing a few off, would you, down forward?
Melbourne again go inside 50. Let's hope they can get some reward this time. And once again, Richards and Grundy solid.
Hold in. I'll take it, mate. It's mid-zone.
So the Swans haven't kicked a goal this quarter, BT. You've got to go back to late 2012 when Melbourne kicked a team goalless in a quarter.
That's great.
Almost 118 quarters ago.
A saving one here from Richards.
Yeah, well, that says a lot about the defensive progress, doesn't it? And we highlighted that before the game, Das. The big improvement this year.
4 goals in the first quarter, Sydney, and Paul Roos went out there with real purpose to the group at quarter time, and you could see he had a couple of things in mind about how to trim the scoring, and it's worked for Melbourne here. Vince has Burns coming wide.
Move it on! Play on!
Now Bernie just pops it up. Got a bit of a run at the back of the pack here, Jamar. Jetta. Can they open them up, Sydney? McGlynn.
Oh, there,
That was a big kick from Jetta there. He took a risk in the corridor, and
Play on!
they're going to have to defend hard here, Melbourne, on the turnover. But once again, as Lee pointed out pre-game, this is something they are very good at now.
Play now.
And normally teams get caught out there with a great kick from Jetta. Everyone's streaming forward, but their commitment, Melbourne, to want to find their man is really admirable.
So they really have found a methodology to trim the scores and keep themselves in the game, Melbourne.
And
Which they haven't been able to do in previous years.
Lyndon Dunn has been loose behind the footy this quarter. There he is now. He's up to 8 disposals, and he's just getting in the way, making it hard for the Swans going inside 50. As a result, Lance Franklin hasn't touched it this quarter.
And the real upside for Melbourne will be, unfortunately, young Jesse Hogan, the young star forward, we understand has had a bit of a relapse of his back, but if you could get another gun and he turns out to be what we think and hope he will be, and then maybe Frawley can rotate back a little bit more, you see what he's trying to build, Paul Roos, a base of competitive nature, and then when we get a bit of cream on the top, we'll start beating some good teams.
Well, here they go, the Demons. Nate Jones will get a look from 50 metres out directly in front. A patient build-up and a precise one from Melbourne.
Yeah, really good build-up. Earlier in the season, they were going sideways and backwards. They went sideways then, but when the opportunity arose to go forward, they did, and they went forward fast.
Jump over the line.
Jones gets a mark just inside 50.
Yeah, so he'll have to kick at 55. Kick looks like it's got the legs. No, it falls short right on the line.
Touch or clear.
Well, they're going to review it.
My decision is touch. Can we please review?
Score review. Umpire's call is touched. For behind, please confirm. Review underway.
We're going to go back to the umpire's call. Are we overdoing this a bit now, Richo?
You've got to trust the goal, or did he not trust himself?
He knew it was touched. He absolutely knew, but he didn't want to have egg on his
Review
face.
complete. Confirming touch behind.
Did he call for the review, or did the field umpire?
No, the goal umpire did, so
Should have trusted his judgment.
So then we get this delay in the game, BT, that, it's probably 30 seconds.
Yep.
Not sure I like it.
A minute remaining in the half here. And Melbourne to be applauded for the way they've been able to control the pace of this quarter. Melcheski around the corner. An opportunity for Sydney just for a late one. Kept it rolling. Got to go Cunningham. Got good wheels. Feet taken. So 39 seconds. 60 metres from Sydney's goal. Haven't scored a goal in this quarter. Sydney just the 3 behinds. Pike did well. Melcheski, as he was about to kick, was ripped off the footy.
At the back. Fly up.
Grimes Kennedy Harris involved to Nate Jones. Now Jetta. Vince sees some space. There's time for Melbourne. Numbers in favour of Sydney here. Did well, Rampy. Watts turns Bird around. Had the composure to handball while under pressure, but it'll end in nothing.
No prior ball's pinned.
About to get the half-time siren. I'd love to see Jack Watts change pace more with the footy, Richo. He's lightning quick. He just doesn't use it enough.
So that man, Paul Roos, would go down pretty happy. Sydney by 17 points, and Buddy didn't get a look in after being a big focal point in the first quarter there. And here at half-time, it is Sydney leading 4-8-32 to Melbourne 2-3-15. So that's a lead of 17 points for this team here, who just look a little confused at the moment. Let's get down to Cameron Ling.
Well, Macca, probably a frustrating quarter of footy for you guys. You just couldn't get through that Melbourne defence, could you?
Yeah, a bit of lack of composure with the ball, which really hurt us. And we're trying to quick kick it. They've got a guy back, so we've just got to use our hands more and, try and change the angles.
You're just talking to Kieran Jack there, having a really good chat between two strong leaders of the team. What were you talking about?
Just trying to work together a bit more. We've got a few guys who are running with, so just try and work out, block for each other, and just help to get those guys free.
Appreciate your time, Macca. All the best, mate. Stay with us now. A big half-time coming up with a brilliant discovered on Melbourne player James Frawley. And the MCG here in a low-scoring affair. It's the Sydney Swans by 17 points.
Next question is, can they hang on? Can they sustain it? They've answered the first part of it. Jamar. Quick hands from Derricks. Really fast hands on that occasion from Cross. Watts. Through some traffic, back to Cross. Tyson. Play on, said the umpire, so Kennedy Harris had to keep going. Sydney with a lot of numbers out the back door there. Hanbury can go either way, and that's put his mate Rampy under some pressure from Howe, and Vince is circulating dangerously. McVeigh, and this is exactly the way it was played in the first half. Now Rampy's under the pump again. He says to Smith, get it out the other side for goodness sake. Grundy, kick into the deck. Half volley here. McGlynn, nice little foot pass out wide.
Thanks, Jack.
And Sydney eventually gain a clean possession of the footy. Franklin, a rare ball coming his way. Here's Buddy in heavy traffic, something he's not necessarily good at these days. Now Jetta. Little right foot kick over the top. McGlynn went early, and Tyson will get the free.
And what happens, Richo, for me, is that you get a bit frustrated when you're Buddy because he hasn't got one-on-ones, and then the footy doesn't start coming down the way you want it to when you do get one-on-one, and you just get upset and off your game a bit.
Yeah, it can be frustrating, obviously, as a key forward, but he doesn't look that comfortable under, the high balls with his overhead marking at the moment, Buddy, and he looks like the only way he's going to get it is at ground level. He's not really judging his marking very well at the moment.
It looks like that's probably the message or the tactic at half-time from Sydney is they want to play even numbers ahead of the footy. So they want one-on-one, two-on-two, three-on-three contests in the forward line. Each time Melbourne try and send a player behind the ball, Sydney are going with them. So they're not going to let Melbourne have that spare player. I think they believe that if they can get it into even numbers, that Sydney will be able to win out because they've got better players down there.
Shaw marks.
Play on.
He's got Melchesky on, but really well guarded on the mark then. I think it was Bernie Vince. Didn't allow him to get it to Melchesky. Rampy. Just to push off the straight arm. In there, Lloyd, handball a little loose, Shaw tidies it up. Now Melchesky looks for Franklin. Now Franklin can kick the distance here, he'll kick at 55.
Yeah, that was a perfect pass from Melchesky. What a great left foot he has. And nothing McDonald could do. Franklin had less than half a metre on him then, but when the ball's delivered like that, almost impossible to stop.
And I'm glad, Lee, you say that they're prepared to have an 8-man forward line or even a 9-man forward line. because they're a more talented side. I mean, it makes sense. You'd be prepared just to back your team in one-on-one if you're John Longmire.
To see Cross run off the ground then. He was well within the 5-metre protected zone on Buddy. Umpire didn't even flinch as Buddy lines up. Kick on the way, coming back, not enough. Be interesting to have a look at that again because he just ran off within about 3 metres of Buddy and the umpire did not even blink. Turlick.
They have eased the interpretation on that too over the summer, which if they're not having any involvement in what the player is doing, it's fine.
5 minutes over.
But then they hit him for that.
5 minutes over, lads.
So if you're going to hit him for that,
Right here.
then the 5-metre protected zone should be as well.
Oh, there, Karen.
Sure, he went 5 metres over. He did go over the mark.
Watts.
Home.
Juggler.
Hang on.
Here's Frawley. Didn't quite get there. We'll throw it in.
I love the way James Frawley plays as a forward. He just, when he sees the lead-up target needed, he goes as hard as he can at a Rich Shone. You can tell he's a defender because he hates getting out-marked. He fights and fights and makes sure that at least the footy comes to ground.
He leads hard and straight, and it just draws even loose players out of the area. If you lead past a loose player with the pace that Frawley leads, it gets their attention, it draws them out, it opens up space for your other forwards around you.
What's planned for Goods, guys? Barring injuries, when's the ideal time? When do you set him in amongst them?
I reckon you'd like to give him about 5 or 10 minutes of the third quarter, and all the last quarter would be ideal.
Okay. McVeigh thought about the inside not once but twice and eventually goes down the line with some effect to Lloyd. Lloyd, some beautiful hand candy. And now a great kick to Buddy. Wields and goes on the left. Draws the player to the ball, and that's Cunningham. And Cunningham marks. It was a great kick. He made Cunningham come to the footy.
Yeah, he did, BT. They're the best kicks. And have a look at this, Brian.
Yeah, have a look at this. Buddy was lining up for goal. Now have a look at Cross. Now, you can't see because the man in the box, but have a look at that. Now he's within, right there, he's within 3 metres.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't say it because it didn't have
no
any
impact at all. I know what you're saying, BT. Technically, that's a free kick, but he was running off the ground. And
36 minutes since the Swans' goal, but Buddy creeping the mark had no impact either on the player. Here is Cunningham. Kick for goal is good. Long time between drinks.
A great build-up. It was a good pass to Franklin, and then that was an even better kick as BT called it. He drew that player into the ball by putting the ball out into grass, and Cunningham hadn't started his lead when Franklin released the footy. It was just his great kick that drew him into it.
Mr. Cunningham goals. Happy days at Sydney. 24-point margin.
You're on fire tonight, BT.
Another zinger-lingy.
You've practiced these, surely.
Melbourne through Burns. High footy. Richards the only one that flew in the end. Here's Frawley. Can he get loose? He does. Cross. Fast hands, Nate Jones. Smothered by Parker. Dawes come through with the full force of his big body.
you know what's happening? Bristol's called Anzac Day with Bruce, and he's just come back with a few new tricks, I think, after a big Friday.
He's added to his kit bag during the week.
He's right up and about.
I'm just waiting for Buddy to bang into a couple so I can say that's something he's done before.
Fine, tackle immediately. Yes, mate, go through.
So Dean Marr gets to throw it up. J Marr, nice tap. Jones. This in the Melbourne attacking 50. Basically every player is there in this part of the ground. Melcheski got space for McGlynn. He's found it a little bit tonight, McGlynn. Next kick's been the problem. Good kick, but it needed to be better. It needed to be marked by Jetta. Kick wasn't quite there. Jones involved. Howe through the traffic here. Comes Kennedy Harris, gives it off to Tyson, and Tyson evens the ledger for this third quarter. Good kick by Tyson. Melbourne answered the Sydney goal, and Back within 3 goals here. Really good bounce in the middle. Pike and the undersized Pedersen, as Lingy has pointed out in the ruck. Viney with the clearance. Dawes needed to mark in the Jukes. Wanted it on the chest, allowed Laidler to spoil it.
Disposal, Sydney. Advantage.
Shaw. Got an inside runner and Kennedy. Can he straighten? Gives it back to Shaw. Penetrating run. He wanted Roberts Thompson to go, but he did not go at all. And Lyndon Dunn again. Jack gets to his feet. Has he got enough on it? The umpire hasn't moved. It's got to be pretty straight. And the game opening up.
Just a tiny thing costing Melbourne here. Lyndon Dunn's done the right thing. He's backed himself, but he just needed to be clean there and take that one grab. A tiny little fumble opened the door for Kieran Jack, and great finish by the Swans skipper. Lyndon Dunn won't be happy with that. He's been terrific tonight.
Pike monstering Pedersen with the actual tap in there. Bird advanced inside 50 this time. It's better, but that's not good for Hanbury.
Yeah, holding his right knee. Let's hope that that's just a bit of a corky. But I agree with you, Lee. I think it's just those little 1% things. Like a little fumble here from Pedersen sells him into a bit of trouble. And just that lack of real class is costing them a bit at the moment, Melbourne.
Hanbury not sure whether to come off or not as the ball goes over the boundary line. He looks like he's slowly recovering now.
Yeah, just an impact as we have a look at it here. I reckon it was just his knee being driven into the turf there, so a bit of an impact injury for Dan Hanbury. He'll be able to run that off. Pretty important period now for Melbourne. Sydney are just starting to get a fair bit of dominance. And it's starting to get an open feeling to it now, this game.
Hanbury, Franklin, did well McDonald on that occasion. Lloyd out the back, Kennedy with a magnificently controlled kick under pressure, and Buddy saw as well.
Great goal from Kennedy, but Buddy Franklin has come straight off the ground after that and holding his left knee really sore. He didn't even think about anything apart from getting straight off the ground. It looked innocuous for Chover.
Didn't seem to be any twisting motion there, so
Lingy will be all over it shortly.
Let's hope he's okay.
So this game really starting to open up, and Melbourne need to try and follow suit if they can. There's Matt Jones pursued by Jack. He surely hasn't got it.
Holding the man. Melbourne. Back over your mark.
It's pretty well played from Matt Jones as Buddy takes a rest, and he's got a really agitated look on his face, and you can see the medicos down there consulting.
So get the feeling we'll get a decision on that one shortly. Good sitting on the bench, itching to be part of this game. A little handball underground. Gee, it was great from Smith. Really good handball. Kennedy to Cunningham.
Starting to get them a bit here on transition, the Swans. 7 inside 50s, Brian.
Yep.
They've had 4 shots, the Swans, so
kicked 3 goals.
That defence that has held up all night is just starting to find it a little bit harder now.
It was the question that was going to be asked of Melbourne after half-time. Could they sustain their defensive skills? McGlenn, good turnover created here.
Sydney.
Gee, they're prepared to come through the corridor, the Swans, aren't they?
On the mark.
Yeah, I think Lingy picked that up pretty correctly in the start of this quarter. Is I think the message was we're not going to allow loose men back, and we're prepared to attack a bit more ferociously, the Swans, and it's served them well so far in this quarter.
Pike and Jamar here. Bale wanted to head to the boundary line. He knew by going it was going to be dangerous, and it was, because now Bird picks it up. Left foot little snapper. Dunn did well to work to the boundary, but this is the concern. The ice being applied directly to the knee. Goods you can see in the foreground warming up. And this is Matt Jones as well, who's hyperextended his left knee. Lyndon Dunn, long footy. Jamar did really well to hold the front position there. Viney drew the play across inside. Now they can go. Jeddah out wide here to Kennedy Harris. And Viney eventually caught up with by Laidler. Ball pin now. Don't tell me he had to get rid of that. In no hope. Good hip and shoulder by Jeddah. Kennedy Harris in again to get it out to Viney, who he had his third go at it. Down towards Frawley. Off hands, it comes to Vince. That's a beautifully placed kick by Vince. And
hand in the back.
So it'll be a Burns free.
Hand in the back.
Gee, a lot going on the bench here, guys. Just to quickly jump in, Lewis Jetta saw as well. Dan Hannonbury getting assessed by the medical staff. Buddy Franklin, of course, as you said, already icing up his right knee there. Sydney's bench is not looking healthy at the moment.
Casualties galore, and this was a soft free too, I reckon. Burns from 45, and he has missed.
Well, they've strapped that ice on now for Buddy, so looks like he may be off the ground for a little while here.
Well, Good's warming up now with some real intent, isn't he? I think you're right, Richo. I think that could be all over for Buddy tonight.
Well, probably get another look at it, but gee, it just didn't seem to be a lot in it.
You normally don't cool down with an ice pack and then try and get someone like Buddy up and running again, do they? You would think that's night over, Lingy.
And Das, they're also icing up Jetta. It looks like lower right leg, maybe shin, maybe ankle with Jetta, but they're using the ice on him as well, which isn't a good sign. But Buddy is now up and about and walking and trying a jog along the boundary line, so he could still be a chance to come back. He's not overly happy about it, though.
So this one starts to liven up, both in terms of goals and injuries. Grimes down the northern wing. Pike with a good punch away to Burns. Got front and centre. Grimes quick hands again around a Bale. Swinging left foot kick gives Dawes a chance. He was met solidly from behind and in front. Not sure that was fair. Parker been forced to kick on his right side a lot tonight. Little tap on to Pedersen. They wind up here. An opportunity for Turlick. Pulls the kick nicely.
Good composure, BT. A good call. And you just saw Turlick there. Enough presence to just hold the kick back. And there's a bit of discussion going on, Richo, isn't there? John Longmire talking to the medicos. And want to find out who's available at the moment for Sydney. As Lingy pointed out, they've got a bit of a war zone down there at the moment.
I think that's Peter Berbikov on the bench. Pretty sure they're on the phone, former Essendon and Swans player.
Well, a lot of decisions need to be made there, and Jones needs to be safe here, and he is. Or is he? Yes, that will be a goal, so it's back to a 24-point margin.
Ethan Meldrum's just sent one through on the Twitter. It's like there's been a car crash on the Sydney bench with bodies strewn everywhere and Buddy involved.
Getting a bit creative there, isn't it?
Yes, and he's joining the party, Das. Nice work. Parker. Shooting handball. Wasn't meant for Bird, but it got there. And now Malcheski is a gun user of the footy. And he finds Kieran Jack, who's got two already.
Starting to really find his good form again, Kieran Jack. Terrific player, sets high standards, and by his standards didn't start the year quite as quickly as he would have liked, but he's getting going tonight.
Just such a no-fuss player, isn't he?
Hitting the scoreboard. Opportunities for his third here, Brian.
Yep. As he lines up well within range, 40 metres out. It's a little left.
BT, one bit of good news for the Sydney Swans fans. Lewis Jetta, he's come back out onto the ground. He's got the right shin strapped up. I was just seeing Lewis Roberts-Thompson just maybe give Alex Giorgio one there, but Jetta is back out on the ground. Buddy is still getting checked out.
Might have been the evener from LRT there. I remember one going not so good for him in the first half. And so a running battle between those two off the ball. Vince, great kick to Dawes. This time he gets the jukes out. Looks like Buddy's going to have a crack. See how they go. Grundy, McVeigh front and centre. Shaw was swamped but driven forward in the tackle.
How good was that trap by Jared McVeigh? She's got really good touch. There's the big fella, still limping a little bit. They're out here.
I'm not sure they'll get him going, Rich. I think he'll have a crack, but I'm not sure whether he'll stay. Parker back inside to Jeddah. Really starting to open up this game now. Sydney have kicked 3 of the 5 goals in the quarter. They lead it by 25.
Pretty handy replacement, ready to go as the sub.
Yep. Shaw.
Gee, that's a good kick.
Beautiful kick to Jack. Dropped the mark down low. Jones got him in the tackle.
Melbourne! No advantage.
Through the way of Vince. To Cross, wearing the identical boots, those two tonight. And a boundary throw in right in the interchange gates.
Yeah, poor old Crossy there, just shaking that off the boot, not happy with his own work.
That looks like that's it for Buddy Franklin. Adam Goodes takes the green vest off. He's being subbed into the game. Buddy's subbed out. He's only worn the red vest once in his career, Buddy. It was round 15, 2012, when he did his Hammy v GWS. So it's not a familiar thing for Lance Franklin.
So Goodes to come on the ground, the All-Australian to enter. Game 3-3-2 for him, joining Lee Matthews and Simon Madden. Justin Madden, I'm sorry, gets some final instructions there as Bird marks 45 out. So Buddy looks like he's gone. Red vest on. And Goodes ready to go.
Who's the equal? Justin Madden, did you say?
Yeah, Justin Madden. 332 games, and Lee Matthews in that grouping as well, as Bird struggles for the distance and sends it McDonald's way.
I just feel like they are holding on, as Ling and Richo have pointed out here, with 4 minutes to go. Seeing Swans midfielders getting out on the overlap run. They're really looking a bit tight at the moment as Adam Goodes enters the field, and what a great reception that is.
And here he is. He'll get a touch straight away within seconds. Can he kick a goal? No! Got to let the Australian of the year kick a goal, don't you? On his return. That'd be the Australian thing to do.
I'm pretty happy, the crowd. Great reception for Goodsy.
Matt Jones did well with the body there early. And now a little chipping pass to Watts. Punched away from him by Rampy. Lloyd. Kennedy. Long footy. McGlynn. And Dunn. Dunn did well against the smaller McGlynn. And now down the line from Grimes. Pedersen to the boundary with the help of Laidler. Just being announced to the crowd here, the sub, if they hadn't already noticed.
Melbourne have made their substitute as well, guys. Neville Jeddah has been subbed off. Christian Salem in for his first game of AFL footy. He's now on the ground.
Giving him the number 3 too, Christian Salem. Pretty famous number at the Melbourne Footy Club.
Yeah, pick 9 in the draft. Christian Salem, and there he is. They'll be pretty excited to see him out there in the Demons colours for the first time.
Take us through the number 3s, Richo, if you can, that have worn it. Hey? How many of them?
Well, how many do you want?
Just a couple of the recent ones.
At the back again here.
Come on, Brian.
Ball up here. It's a famous jumper at the Melbourne Footy Club.
The most obvious one is Gary Lyon.
That's a star.
Is that what you want me to say?
That's exactly who wore it.
Jared Healy ran around in it, kicked a lot of goals to the Melbourne Footy Club before going to the Swans.
Very nice.
What else do you want?
That's enough. Jeddah, Viney.
Clint Bizzle, Clint Bartram.
Now you're just getting really ahead of yourself. Here's Frawley.
Butch Marketich. I can go back to the turn of the century if you want.
Little one. Here's Salem, the sub for Melbourne.
Percy Love.
With his first touch and footy, kicks the Doors, and he was just a little comfortable with his efforts there. Doors wasn't aggressive enough with the hands. Who was that?
Alf George.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Melbourne supporters know who Christian Salem is. The number 3. Wearing that famous number. Richo is all over. And
Teddy Thomas.
just off the top of your head.
Just coming to me.
You had a bit of time searching for G Line at the start, and then you came good.
Well, it was pretty obvious, Gary Lyon.
There he is, Christian Salem.
Like Gary too.
It's fairly hairy.
Hanbury.
Bill Baxter.
Oh, come on, Richo. McLean. Wide. The run of Smith here for Sydney. Nick Smith to get around Dawes comfortably and on the goods. Second touch. I'm not sure it was meant to fall there, but it found its target in the end, and Parker will line up from directly in front on the right boot.
Almost put his hands up there, Goodsy, like a tennis player does when you hit the net. You don't mean it. He shanked that. Absolutely shanked it off the side of the boot and ended up the perfect pass for this man.
So Parker from dead in front.
Oh.
Got it pretty high on the arch of the foot.
Yep.
Oh boy, Lyndon Dunn just about messed it up as well. High footy, good leap out there from guess who? When you talk leaps, Jeremy Howe. Over to Turley. Halfback to halfback. Cross works really hard wide, but it opened the space inside for Vince. Now he's got Dunn sitting behind for the bailout kick if he wants it, but he goes the harder kick to Watts.
A few Bronxies there, I think, for the Melbourne supporters, unfortunately, for Jack Watts.
Good kick by Vince to pull Salem to the footy there.
See if he can find a target.
Just a little one outside to Vince, and siren sound, so Vince will have to go the barrel from here and he'll have to travel 75.
He's kidding, Bernie.
He's got a wobbler and it won't get there. So an interesting quarter of football that saw Sydney kick 3 and Melbourne kick 2, and the Australian of the Year be injected into the game in the absence of the big boy, Buddy Franklin. 7-12-54 Sydney. Melbourne 4-4-28. What do you reckon he was saying there?
I reckon the defensive chase and tackle from those two guys as forwards hasn't been up to it, and that is the minimum standard for Paul Roos. If you don't deliver that, you're going to hear about it pretty quickly.
Parker takes a nice mark, and he'll go back.
Thanks, Jeremy.
And with his right boot, Richo.
Yes, his right boot, Brian, he'll drill this, I reckon.
I've just caught him earlier tonight being a left footer, but he's actually a right, and he shanked the last one. Let's have a look at how he goes with this one. Makes a better fist of it, although a little short in distance, and umpire signals a minor score. So Sydney now by 27 points. Not out of the reach of Demons, but they're really going to have to get things going here.
Thanks, Harry.
Turlick.
Well, they've been hemmed into a slow play here, but they just got to play fast this whole last quarter. Play on, corridor footy, get it in quickly.
Kennedy, short ball to McGlynn. McGlynn can wheel and go if he wants. Sees some space. Parker was on the lead again. This time it was trimmed off nicely by Pedersen. He gives it to Vince. Turlick now can run. He's got clear space in front. Hanbury around the corner over the head of Goods, and Pike couldn't make any ground. McDonald dropped the mark that he really should have tidied up.
The second quarter where Melbourne outscored the Swans and kicked goals as Jack Watts takes a little bit of a sit on the pine. They, when they turned it over, moved the ball a lot quicker. And what you said there, Richo, before makes sense. They've just gone a bit slow themselves, the Demons. They've still got to take the game on when they get a chance.
Melbourne,
Giorgio.
They need to try and... Well, that's good. Quick handball out, and that gets this whole play moving now. And when you play on, it forces the players further down the field to create as well.
Won't win unless they go for it, Richo. And they've got to do it. They've got to take it on here, Melbourne. Are they protecting the blowout? Are they going to protect the blowout, or are they going to go for the win?
No, you've got to go for the win. And if you want to play slow footy and chip, well, that's going to make it slow footy for your forwards. Forwards tend to not lead if you're playing slow through the middle and half back. So if you play on, it forces the forwards to keep moving.
Pedersen down to Jones. Snipe handball back. Pedersen kicks the long footy in over the head of the Demon forwards there, and they've got it deep at least.
I know Paul Roos talked a lot about percentage at the start of the year and about improving that this year, but pretty sure they just got to play on and go for a win.
Well, we've kept scoring low. Jetta looking to get it to Kennedy, who now comes under some Tyson pressure. Hanbury by Viney was good as well, and Roberts-Thompson again got tangled up with Giorgio, and Roberts-Thompson gives Giorgio another one. They've been whack for whack tonight, those two.
They're going at it here as well off the footy.
Genuinely don't like each other. These two as Goods marks within range.
Geez, he led into that footy well, Goodsy. 330 games, he's just a Rolls Royce the way he moves still.
Went the short footy, and it was perfection to McGlynn.
It had the real Stevie J look-away kick. There's no one apart from Stevie J tries that, but because he's got that in his trick bag.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, Lingy just...
They're just enjoying that one, Lingy, I think.
I think he loved it, Lingy.
Just letting things glide past him at the moment. Lingy, here comes McGlynn. And Sydney get another, and a good one, 33-point leaders.
It's all in the eyes here for me, isn't it? Look at this, just a little dart across. Maybe I'm not going to go for home. And that takes a fair bit of skill.
Nicely done by Goods. Sydney go forward again. Roberts-Thompson gives them a contest there. There's McGlynn into tackle mode this time. He's a real workhorse. Bird with a handball looking for Goods. Spun out with a footy. McDonald. Burns. Stripped by Shaw. Now Goods again. Keeps the ball in front. Grimes did well not to offend there. Now Vince. Vince at halfback. Little Chisler. Down low, tidied up by Burns. He gave it to Viney. Didn't realise there was pressure from behind. Good tackle by Jack.
Right there, Jack.
Right there, Jack, said the umpire. For Kieran.
It's his 7th tackle.
Shannon, where you are now?
Dan Hanbury's had 11 clearances tonight.
Shaw nonchalantly gives it off to Laidler, who lets it rip from 52. Tackle high, it did slip down a little bit. The tackle was completed above the hips, I reckon.
Yeah, pretty fair tackle. Played a heap of rugby, you reckon, Kieran Jack?
Yeah, his dad was one of the all-time greats, wasn't he? Gary Jack of Australian Rugby League. We know Melbourne have improved their defence, and we've been pretty full in our praise of that, Richo, but who can bob up and kick 2 or 3 here just to make it more of a contest for Melbourne? Who would you go to?
Well, you've got to go to guys that have been proven goal kickers, I reckon, in the past.
It's a throw, one-handed throw.
Gee, that's a great tackle from Jack Viney.
So who are
and
those?
To be honest, Melbourne don't have a lot of them at the moment. That's one of their biggest issues. Chris Dawes will present like he did then, but he's never been a player to kick bags of multiple goals.
Well, of their players tonight, Shannon Burns has the most career goals, I think, in amongst the Melbourne players. Here's Cunningham.
I mean, that's where, you know, Mitch Clark is a huge loss for this footy club. He was the one capable of kicking, you know, your 5 or 6 goals or getting 2 or 3 quickly.
Goods again, as you say, really gliding over the ground.
Geez, that's a great sign to see him moving as well as he is.
Beautiful kick to Kennedy as well. So it's been all class from Adam Goods.
Yeah, that wasn't a loaded question, Richo. And you're probably right. You look through the side now and you think, who's got a bag of 5 with him for Melbourne? And there's not many, is there?
Not at this stage.
Kennedy, short footy to McGlynn, lessens the angle. Only a moment before that, Goods had tried the same lead, was ignored, but cleared the space for this man.
Benny McGlynn, always known where the goals are. Gee, he can find space inside forward 50. He is a natural type forward, Ben McGlynn. I know he's playing a tagging role sometimes now, but knows how to find space inside 50.
Worked hard tonight, missed that one.
And people may go, oh, how can't you find space? Well, I reckon it's something that you start with maybe as a junior. It's not something that just suddenly comes to you, and people who have got a history of being able to do it continue to do it, and Ben McGlynn's one of them.
Guys, you can see Kieran Jack there. You mentioned how tough he is. Just looking underneath his jumper, he's got a lot of padding on his right side, on his ribs and his abdomen, and he's having a little bit of trouble with it. He's got constantly checking with the doctors and the medical staff just around those ribs and that sort of midriff area. So maybe he's copped a bit of a knock and come into this game with really sore ribs.
Pike, the interception to Bird, gets a clear path, doesn't need to turn and face the footy soon, and you know, he's got a little time to Grimes.
He has got no one at all up there as he looks up, so that's all he could do.
Just kicks it to the space. Now it's a race between Shaw and Dawes. Shaw wins it. Richards, he says, come on, Shawry, get up off the deck. I need someone to give it to.
An example of it yesterday in the Anzac Day game is players that can kick multiple goals quickly, still side bottom.
See Jack holding the ribs there, as Lingy mentioned.
Yeah, he's all over that, Lingy. He just looks sore, doesn't he? Grimacing.
Just deliberately out of bounds then by Richards, which I thought was strange. Dawes went to his non-preferred side.
Not his best effort. But yeah, side bottom, kicked 3 in a quarter, but he was always a goal kicker. He kicked 10 in an under-18s grand final, I think, side bottom.
You can see the padding there, as Lingy points out.
Didn't like the side bottom work there.
Yeah, no, I did. I was just looking at the picture there.
Just gave me 0.
He had 40 possessions and kicked 10 still side bottom in that under-18 grand final. Fair day.
Salem. The foot kick around the corner for his first goal in footy.
You got to love this. Christian Salem's first goal in AFL footy, the pick 9. But even more, boys, I love the fact every player on the ground has got over to Salem. They come from full-back all the way through, and that says something about where this group are at. They've got more spirit than they've had for a long while.
Yeah, to a man, every single Melbourne player, everyone, right? The full-back, Grimes ran all the way down as well.
So 29 points out of it here at the moment, the D's. Melcheski, great handball to Jack. Jack now looks wide for Derricks. Ground level footy, Lloyd. Roberts Thompson, who's had a real battle with Giorgio tonight. Not the required journey. Jack lines up and misses.
We'll get a bit of a look tonight, Bristol, at the big trade in the off-season. Melbourne gave up pick 2 to get Dom Tyson, who has had a great start to his career at Melbourne. I think he's been great. Christian Salem was the other pick. And Paul Roos' logic was we sort of get 2 for 1. We get one that we know a bit about, and we get a little look at Salem, who we're seeing tonight. There he is.
Right on cue. And he hasn't looked out of it at all. He's looked quite comfortable at this level.
Well, just kicked that goal, and every finish he's had's been neat. Hasn't
composed. There's Cross, the veteran. Frawley stretches the legs. 40 and closing misses.
There's a good chase there in the background. Reece Shaw gave that chase everything. Nearly got there in the end.
Right there now, Jack. Hey. Right there, Jack. Move it on. Play on. Up there. Play on.
Bird. Parker.
He goes hard sailing, doesn't he? We just saw him again there. Throw his body in, and Richo, you love this chase.
Yeah, well, he's given it absolutely everything, Reece Shaw.
On the meter.
Pike just ragdolled by Jamar there. Little handball came from Kennedy Harris.
Play on. No 50.
Grundy went the sock up. Watts. Nice. Sly little handball. Jamar. There's now Jones to Frawley wide. Can he keep it alive? He can. Handball over the top to Pedersen. Had to do some fancy footwork and probably the wrong decision made by him in the end, and that's where it should have gone to this man. Frawley. Jones backwards to Watts. Watts into the spot. Grundy overrunning it. Cunningham gives the Demons a chance. Matt Jones tidies up. He wanted it back. Viney said, no, I'm just going to bullock my way through, and has a ping but misses.
He's got a hard head, Jack Viney. To see that, he just wheeled his way through a tackle there. Just some of his finishing tonight hasn't been at its absolute best.
So the crowd tonight, 24,855, which is 60-odd thousand less than yesterday on this same ground. Hanbury on the wing says, come at me, but no one's looking now. A little bit of space. I think it's Cunningham on the lead here. Got the hands on it, couldn't hold on. The tackle was good though, dispossessing. Gee, Jones held on to a bit long, lucky not to be penalised there. Now Kennedy around on the right boot, high foot. He got to go back. Dunny's got the little man McGlynn hanging around. He's dangerous. McDonald arrives. Now Kennedy Harris. Laidler. Jeremy Howe.
Well, there you go. Haven't seen much of this year. He's doing that every game last year. Only been 11 contested marks tonight for the whole game, both teams. 8 for Melbourne and 3 for Sydney only.
Have a look at this. Just does it with such ease and comfort, Jeremy Howe. Doesn't worry about the landing until he's secured the footy. Jones onto Burns. He can kick it from here, Burns. 50 metres out and closing, but it falls short to Richards. Rampy, short footy, finds Bird. So Sydney will play Brisbane at the Gabba next week. As far as Melbourne are concerned, they'll travel to the renovated Adelaide Oval for a game there against Adelaide. High footy. Derrick's wanted a piece of it off hands, and if you've just joined us, Franklin out with a sore-ish knee in that third quarter. Subbed on was Adam Goods, and there is Buddy. We don't think it's too bad. And Goods took his place. Hanbury somehow eluded the tackle. Gee, McGlynn's turnaround was on a threepenny bit there. And now Dunn, who's done pretty well tonight. He's caught here, just got rid of it in the nick of time though. Hanbury onto Lloyd, back to Pike, and gee, funny sort of kick there from Mike Pike. Now Goods keeps his feet, keeps it rolling forward, and it's going to end in a Derrick's goal. Put it down to Goods though.
your call, BT. Keep your feet. Is what Goods has done so well for 332 games. Other players would have felt a bit of pressure and maybe gone to ground. He never does.
Jamar did well then. Parker unloaded. Viney's tackle on him by Bird was initially high, but he dropped it down quickly. There's the ping-pong style game going on in there. Now Malcheski, good kicker. Into the spot Derricks was coming, but Crossgrove. Out wide, Kennedy Harris. This way, that away. Good ball to Jones, who's got Dawes on over the top. Here comes Shaw to spoil the party, and a couple of times Dawes has been caught out like that tonight, where he hasn't sensed the pressure and hasn't heightened his urgency to win the footy in the air.
In fairness, it wasn't a great kick to him, BT. It just hung in the air a bit longer than it needed to. And he doesn't get huge numbers at the moment, Dawes, but I love his work rate, Richo. I think he's just trying his heart out at the moment.
Yeah, he's always had pretty good work rate in his time at Collingwood.
Frawley, a difficult ball to stop.
Been that sort of night for Frawley tonight. It's been limited opportunities for him. Only 33 inside 50s for Melbourne, and that one bouncing just a metre in front of him. Pretty frustrating.
Pressure's gone right out of this game now. Cross marks in defence.
Very good overhead mark is Daniel Cross, with player his size, always has been.
And Daniel Cross, he's done a terrific job tonight. He's just that disciplined, mature player, as you guys have mentioned earlier, but he's kept Jared McVeigh to just the 18 possessions in a game that Sydney have really dominated. To keep McVeigh that quiet, that's a really disciplined role for the team.
Had 23 himself too, Lingy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he doesn't just tag. He never has, even when he was at the Bulldogs. He actually goes and wins his own ball. Really good in the contest, and such a fit player. He just works so hard on his game.
Jones through the traffic. On to Salem. Once again, a really measured kick.
Jeez, that's a classy left foot, Salem, isn't it? Every ball that he's kicked, he's had 5 kicks, and they've all been laced out.
Frawley, I'm not sure where that one was going. Probably Bale, but gee, there was a lot of traffic around him to thread the needle there. Bird finds some space with Parker. He wants to just take the foot off the gas for a moment.
You can just tell with these top players, young players now. We've seen Billings at St Kilda with poise, Josh Kelly at GWS, and now Salem tonight in their first games. Just every touch they've got is class.
That accidental knee into the rib of Derricks there by Dunn. I don't think he meant it at all, but Derricks is not happy about it and got him right in the ribs. Lyndon Dunn, and Derricks is going to hunt him. Have a look at this.
And Giorgio's always been around a bit of ill feeling tonight, hasn't he, Alex Giorgio?
Yep. Jones running on the southern wing. Just that pressure late, forced the kick, but Melbourne have got 3 players on here. Grimes over the top, can give it a game. He does, and finds Pedersen. Pedersen marks within range, so he'll go back to level 2 goals apiece here in the last quarter.
He's worked pretty hard tonight. Did a little bit of ruck work.
Got a kick at about 47. Good looking kick. A little left in the end flight though.
He looks to me like someone Lewis Roberts-Thompson was when he first started out. There was a lot of questions about whether or not he was up to AFL standard LRT, and then Paul Roos just found a role for him and persevered, ended up being a very good premiership player for the Swans. If he can do the same with Pedersen, he's a bit of a genius.
Viney. Stolen here, Hanbury. Tries to open him up in the wing with a kick to Kennedy. Now they've got the loose player on. McGlynn wanted it into the pocket. If he's got the length in the kick, and he has, but Turlick read it beautifully. Dropped off his man Cunningham to help out then, Turlick. Really good team play by him.
Yeah, it was good play because McGlynn had found himself goal side again. Gee, does it well.
Bale here. Pedersen again will get a run at the footy. It'll go against Dawes.
Thanks, Chris.
We're talking a lot tonight about the different Melbourne, obviously, with what Paul Roos brings to the table. Round 8 2012, Josh Kay's just telling me, Melbourne scored the same amount, 37 points. On that night, though, Sydney scored 138. So it is a completely different way of playing, and I admire it. I think it's the first thing you had to do. They haven't got the class goal kickers yet. They're hoping Jesse Hogan, they're hoping they can draft a couple more, but at least it's something you can hang your hat on, is that they run and defend better.
Certainly have done that. Even when this game looked like opening up, they've been able to find a way back.
Well, that'd be the first thing to get right, wouldn't it be? The defensive stuff, and they've certainly tightened up this year.
Touch, player.
Cross. Crawley and Grundy. Shaw. Smith under enormous Shannon Burns pressure there. Rampy just tries to bulldoze his way through. He's lucky to get away with that one. And now Derricks and Dunn go at it. Lyndon Dunn had a fair bit of the footy tonight. Short little ball. Cross now. Cross won't probably be able to kick the distance from there, and he'll realise that. Vince will. No one on the mark here. He can go. He decides not to.
It's a long kick, Bernie. Should get the distance.
Very deliberate. Bernie Vince pretty close to the man on the mark. Got the altitude. Now has he got the carry? It'll fall a metre or two short. Stayed alive, Pedersen. Burns to Jones. Trying to sell the foot candy. Back with a left foot. Banana hits the post. Hit both posts. Bet you haven't seen that this year, Richo.
No, haven't seen that one, BT.
It would have looked good off the boot.
Would have been a good goal from there.
Melcheski with half a minute in this game remaining. Parker. And not calling the mark here because of the lack of distance in the kick. 31-point lead to Sydney here. And they've got themselves in a good position here at 3-3 after a shaky start with Brisbane next week. Kick around the corner. Needs a good bounce. Have a look at that. No score. Sydney now back at 3-3 with a win over Melbourne.
Enjoying being back out on the footy field.
It's been a long 10 months thing, and just to get back out here and have a couple of kicks was awesome, and then get a win as well, it's great.
Were you able to focus on the footy? You've had a very busy schedule in the off-season. Of course, congratulations being Australian of the Year, but you were hanging with royalty, you were with William and Kay, you were throwing out the first pitch of baseball. Have you managed to get the mind back on footy?
Oh, definitely, mate. This is what I'm getting paid to do, so it was nice to come out here after a long spell and get a few kicks, hopefully next week, get half a game and just keep increasing it as we go.
It was hard work tonight, wasn't it? Melbourne, they really improved their defensive structure, their defensive intent. It took you guys a while to get through them, but eventually you're able to break them open.
Yeah, definitely. To their credit, they went one-on-one at us, and unfortunately in the first half they really had us on those tough one-on-ones. So to get away with the 4 points tonight, not playing great footy, is probably a good effort.
I take it, being such a competitive person, you don't like wearing the subs vest. Do you get in horse's ear now and say, we'll get rid of that subs vest for next week?
I hope so, mate. I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like I've only played about 20 minutes, so we'll see how we go.
You know what the sub has to do, though, now? They've got to start running laps to the MCG while everybody gets to go in and relax.
Yeah, it'd be nice if everyone could just keep a camera on me while I'm doing a few more laps.
Well done tonight, mate. Great to have you back out there.
Adam Goods there. Welcome return for him. Buddy Franklin in the red tracksuit there in the middle of all of that. months limp, but he doesn't look too disappointed. Back down to Cameron Ling.
I've got Daniel Hanbury here. He just gave Buddy Franklin the big hug there, Hannahs. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's just a bit ginger, mate. I think last quarter, I think it was made the decision to swap him for Goodsy, which is a fair replacement, really.
Decent sub to have up your sleeve, Goodsy. You must love having him back out in the team, back running around. He's such a great player.
Yeah, it's awesome. He's the heart and soul of the footy team, and he's been driving a lot of the boys after a poor month of footy at the start of the year, and great to have him back, and we're hoping he can keep building and be a vital part for our rest of the year.
And marvellous game by you tonight. You seem to be out there just running with absolute intensity. Came to the bench exhausted every single time. Was that the thing? Just get quick, short bursts, but do it at high intensity?
Yeah, well, certainly our midfield the first month we probably weren't running as well as we could have. One of our strengths is our work rate and be able to run hard, and I think it's been a big focus the last couple of weeks. We come off absolutely stuffed, and it's only a couple of weeks where we're starting to build back up. We've got a long way to go, but it's a good start to rebuilding the year for us.
Thanks for your time, Hannahs. Well done tonight, mate.
Cameron Ling and Mark Hanbury down there as he'll join his teammates. Adam Goods is at the other end of the ground thanking the supporters for coming and really enjoying himself out there.
Well, I don't think Goodsy wants to get off the ground. He's just got back involved in footy after 10 months, a long 10 months, as he said, and the boys are just waiting for him. He's getting back down towards them now.
All right, I think Lingy's just having a chat with Buddy Franklin at the moment. What did he say, Lingy, in regards to his injury?
Yeah, he doesn't want to have a chat, BT, but he said he's good. He felt really good, just a bit of a precaution. That's why he was subbed out of the game. I don't think he likes being subbed off, but he said thumbs up.
Nice job, Lingy, down there.
Yeah, just always gets the right information, and that's a good summation of... the disappointing thing, he came off, but Adam Goods, I've heard people say that they're really worried about whether or not the end's coming to good. Even in a quarter tonight, you thought he's got a lot of footy left in at a really high standard. If that's a sign of how he can run, that's a brilliant thing for Sydney.
Yeah, I thought he looked like he was moving pretty well, Goodsy. Obviously would be fresh in his legs, and I guess the next month or months will tell whether he keeps going around again, but the signs there tonight, there's plenty of life left in Adam Goods.
So they'll go down and enjoy this, and as Mark Hanbury said, they had a rough...
That'll be Dan Hanbury, his old man's
Dan Hanbury, sorry. They had a rough start to the year where they were able to just get the one win against Adelaide, the 3 losses, and now they've got back on even playing ground where they're 3-3, and they play Brisbane at the Gabba.
Yeah, the boys walking down into the room. Says Jared McVeigh's a bit ginger. Jared, he had Daniel Cross all over him all night. A little bit sore. They'll get in and give this song a good bell.
They can sort themselves out and stay injury-free. I still think the combined depth of their midfield is the best in the competition. Goods comes back and plays free. Franklin, if Tippett finds his way back in the side, the reason why we all thought they were going to be a top 4 side, that hasn't gone away. Just going to take a little bit more time than maybe they would have hoped.
Well, they started tonight with Franklin deep and Mike Pike at centre-half forward. Well, that'll be Tippett, and he's 200 centimetres in an almighty contested mark. So you get him back in the team, straightens you up. And they're trying to play corridor footy tonight, and when he's down there, you want to get it in quickly.
You can just see the body language here. They know exactly where they're at, Sydney, don't they?
They don't get carried away. No. They never have, the Swans.
You know precisely what this means.